Our history can hold many wonderful treasures, and there's a place in Gainesboro, Tennessee that gives us the chance to relive the past and learn interesting facts that help shape the area we live in. Let's take a trip back in time as we visit the Jackson County Historical Museum.
Well, we are in the Jackson County Museum. It is the oldest museum in the Upper Cumberland area. It was established in about circa 1975. It's older than any other museum that I'm aware of. And we're in the town of Gainesboro. Gainesboro is an old town. It was established in 1820. It's almost 200 years old, 11th oldest town in the state of Tennessee. This building became available. It belongs to the town of Gainesboro, but the Historical Society is allowed to use it, so it's developed into what it is. Obviously, you can see that the space is limited. We've got a lot more things than we can display. We worked to try to get a larger facility, but we haven't been able to do that. One of the historical things in Jackson County became an official county in 1801, and just before that, a fort was built to protect the settlers from the Indians, and this is a replica of that fort. It's Fort Blount, named for William Blount, who was the territorial governor of this area before Tennessee became a state. So this fort didn't operate too long, operated 3 or 4 years in the early 1790s. After the danger from the Indians kind of subsided, it was no longer manned. The river was very important in Jackson County. The commerce that developed here was a result of steamboats coming up and down the river in late 1800s up to about 1936. The steel that's displayed here, that's part of the history of Jackson County. There was a lot of whiskey made in this area, so we talk about that. Also, I'd like to mention that we have a lot of genealogical information. There are a lot of people that are interested in genealogy, and we have a lot of information here in this building and in another area in the archives here in the town of Gainesboro. People can find out a lot of information about their roots, and well, I can trace my roots back to the sister of Anne Boleyn, who was the wife of King Henry VIII in England, who was put to death. Columbus was a town on the river that's about 1.5 miles north of here. During the Civil War, the Union Navy tried to control the river and came up the river. They burned the community of Old Columbus. That mural is a depiction of that. Burned Salina, but Andrew Johnson, who was the military governor, wouldn't let them burn Gainesboro, so Gainesboro wasn't burned, and it was supposedly a strategic place. Jackson County in Gainesboro has a long history. It was a thriving place several years ago. The river no longer is a commercial advantage. We've been bypassed by the interstate, so we're not as thriving as we were, but the entire square of Gainesboro is on the National Historic Register of Historical Places, which is unusual, and we have things that people would I believe people would enjoy, and we'd like for them to come and visit the museum and spend time looking to see what they can see that they would be interested to them. It's a true saying, I guess, the older you get, the more important historical things are, and you become a part of history yourself as you get older and older, and you want to preserve that. And it's important for people to know their history and who their ancestors were and who were leaders and developed this country into what it is, because people have gone from Jackson County and the Upper Cumberland area all over this country and have made impacts on history and what has occurred in this country.